Hi everyone and welcome back to the Bolton Fan TV podcast. I'm surprised we've still not missed a week, I'll be completely honest. But yeah, we are back again, me and Tyler that is. Again, we can't really complain, with recent games and stuff, but we're here anyway. But yeah, first things first. You thought I'd forgot, didn't you? The trivia questions are back. Obviously,
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I forgot last week, and then the week before you hosted because obviously I had COVID. So, yeah.
Yeah. No revision done.
Well, you can't really revise for it. So, also, I do apologise, anyone that is on YouTube, that you can see me constantly messing with my hair, but I need a haircut, okay?
So do I.
You're just going to have to deal with it. But yeah, we're only going to do the one question, because I'll be honest, that's all I found, because I did it about 10 minutes ago.
Until we come to the end and you'll think of another one.
Probably. But I don't know. But yeah, all right. So, obviously, also as well, I'm making the question up. I've just got a fact in front of me. I'm just making a question out of it.
Oh, great.
So, obviously, Bolton haven't always been at the Uniball or the Macron Reebok, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, the first stadium was called Burnden Park. Now, my question to you, young Tyler,
when was it first there?
No. When was it demolished?
I don't like you one bit.
I feel like you'd have got them. If I had have asked you when it was built, I think you might have got that. But to be fair, you might get this.
Is it multiple choice or not?
Well, no, because I told you it's not a question; it's just a fact. And I feel like if I give dates, I'm gonna give a wrong date, and then yeah. It's actually, that's mad, but yeah.
Don't know why I've got some like proper far date in my head.
Well, to be fair, but we're not quite old.
True.
This may take him a while, so
Back in 1936.
1999. Which, to be honest, it doesn't. It seems like a long time ago, which it is. But at the same time, it's kind of like it's actually not too far away. That was the little trivia section that we've done now all of twice. But yeah.
Twice.
Now let's get into the actual podcast. Obviously, we will talk about our recent form and stuff, but I'll be honest, I'm going to warn everyone that's listening or watching. We're probably going to say a lot of the same things that we already have the past couple of weeks, simply because we can't necessarily critique the performance too much. But yeah, the big thing I want to talk about, or potentially big thing, it's not a big thing yet. One of our strikers, who we have on loan.
Oh, yeah.
Dapo AFOLYAN, okay, has discussed the possibility of moving to the Whites permanently. Now, I've said in a couple of podcasts that right now AFOLYAN doesn't look like the best player, but he definitely has the qualities to be one of the best in the league.
Tuesday, he was a baller when he started on Tuesday.
Yeah, and against Cambridge, I think he deserved a goal. I think he just got a bit unlucky.
Yeah, he wasn't lucky to miss, and then obviously Sars with a volley.
Yeah, like I said, we'll get on to that, but yeah, Ian Everett's made it like he's so open, and he actually wants AFOLYAN to stay. Obviously, AFOLYAN, I think he's out of contract at the end of the season with West Ham, I believe.
Yeah, he is. He is.
So, it's not impossible. I would like to see him here, on a permanent basis, simply off the fact that, you know, the performances he's putting in, and at such a young age as well, he looks like he's going to be one of the next breakouts, which, I mean, if he can start that at Bolton, I'm not going to complain. Yeah, as we both just said, personally as well, I think over the past few weeks, AFOLYAN, I'm surprised he hasn't got a goal yet.
His time will come.
Yeah, it's the same with Maddison, as we both said. Both of them are bound to get a goal at some point. AFOLYAN, like we just said as well, was unlucky against Cambridge. Probably should have scored, but there's not a lot he could have done about it. But yeah, what are your thoughts on AFOLYAN potentially coming to Bolton permanently?
I think it would be a good deal for him because he's like a lower league club, like you said, getting more experience the way he's playing. He could evenly become a baller in League Two and hopefully break into the England squad, like young, like depending on how old he is, like young English squad.
He's quite young. He might only be, I don't know. I think he's 19, 20, something like that. I think. And
then break into the big England squad. Hopefully Gareth Southgate looks at what AFOLYAN's been doing. It would be a shame if he does go back to West Ham if the talks break down, because I could see talks maybe breaking down and then restarting again.
Interesting point on that, actually, which actually brings me on to what I was just getting up. Now, AFOLYAN, I have so much more respect for this guy now, simply based off what he said. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's actually said this, but he's implied it in some way or whatever. But yeah. So I'm going to read you a very short paragraph from the One Football article that I've seen. But apparently it was in the Bolton News, so that's where you may have seen it, if you have seen it. So AFOLYAN has stated that he is focused on helping the League Two side push for promotion during his time on loan at the Uniball, and any talks over his future will have to wait, which I respect massively, because there's so many players that would almost jump at the opportunity, especially if West Ham offer him a new contract. He could just jump at that straight away and then, you know, not be 100% focused. But I respect that massively, because obviously we are pushing for promotion, whether it be at least the playoffs or potentially automatics. Obviously, we discussed that in the last podcast. And yeah, I mean, just massive respect. Like, to think that he's still very young, you know, obviously he's older than us too, but he's still very young. And the fact that he seems like he's got a very mature head on him, just based off of that. And yeah, and it actually does say underneath that he is out of contract with West Ham at the end of the season as well. So, I mean, it's a very big possibility. Obviously, Everett really likes him, and AFOLYAN, I don't really know what his feelings are about Bolton, but I'm assuming he's enjoying it right now.
Hopefully.
But yeah, that honestly, obviously, I've made it no secret that I'd take Maddison first, but
I've made no secret that I'd take Declan John first.
Or Declan John, yeah. To be fair, any of them, realistically. And obviously, sorry, go on.
A bit quiet with his contract talks, hasn't he, Declan John?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not as if he needs to shout about it. Is he out of contract at the end of this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, speaking of Maddison as well, actually, I've seen a few people criticising Maddison. Now, this isn't a massive thing. Like, people have been doing it since he got here. But, you know, whether it's for his Fendi headband or whatever. But now people are starting to, I believe, personally, that it's the majority of Everett outers. Obviously, because they can't complain at Ian Everett right now.
Obviously.
They're trying to pick at individuals. I've seen a few people say that Maddison's overhyped. That, you know, okay. I mean, Tyler's reaction sums it up, really. I had the same one. Look, Maddison hasn't, you know, he has put in very good performances, don't get me wrong. Obviously, he hasn't scored goals, which is what everybody's expecting him to do. You know, I think he's going to get one.
He's been getting assists though.
Yeah, which is what I was about to say actually. But the performances he's putting in are very good. Like he's holding down his position and he's doing his job very well. And at the end of the day, the team's winning. So
he's literally bringing our team forward in any chance possible.
I mean, the way I look at it, right? If that whole month of January, when we're kind of, I mean, let's be honest, Bolton fans in general were wondering if we'd even make playoffs. Our form wasn't great. We were sat closer to the bottom of the table. And then January happened, and straight after that, we've shot up. So, the way I look at it, if Maddison hadn't come in, we probably wouldn't have shot up the table. At least not as quickly, anyway. If Williams hadn't come in, we wouldn't have shot up the table. Who else did we bring in? I've forgotten. AFOLYAN.
Maddison, AFOLYAN.
And then, is that it?
When did we get Kieran Lee?
No, Kieran Lee was before that. That was like after the first transfer window, but not in January. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. But, and then obviously Jensen, which that's another topic we'll talk about as well. But yeah, I mean, if all you ever outers, right, if you're actually now criticising players when, I'll be honest, I think I said it in the last episode, this is the best football I've seen Bolton play since we were last in League One. Not last season, before that. Like, my God, like, I saw, stats of, players that have done the most passes. Try and have a guess who was number 1 and number 2. By the way, it's not related to Maddison or anything. It's defenders, I'll give you that.
Santos and Baptiste.
Alex Baptiste is at the top of that. Like, he's created...
Baptiste?
Baptiste is at the top of, I think it was passes, I believe. But yeah.
Oh, that's why I went Santos first.
And then Santos is second. So, the top 2 passers
that's the top
in the league...
Yeah, I just thought
in the league, Santos. Like, 2 of Bolton's players are at the top of that. Like, we are one of the most creative sides, I'd argue. Obviously, again, comes back to being clinical, wrong word. But yeah, again, we'll get onto that. But yeah, I mean, if you come in at individual players now, like, I get it if they have a bad game, but Maddison's not had a bad game. Like, you can call him overhyped and whatever, but at the end of the day, he's probably going to bang in 3 goals at some point during a game and have an absolute banger of a game. And then all the people that were calling him overhyped were like, oh my God, he's worth all the hype, he's this, that, and the other. Like, just, why can't, right? This is why I've said before, I obviously love Bolton, or else I wouldn't support them. I've supported Bolton a lot, like pretty much all my life,
Yeah, same.
And then, I still hate Bolton fans. I'll be completely honest. I hate Bolton fans.
There's some arrogant ones that do my head in.
There's that, but also it's just some that are just wrong, which is more annoying. Like, if somebody's being arrogant or, making a point that you don't agree with, you can accept difference of opinion. But
True.
When it's just flat out wrong, that's when it annoys me. Like, it's kind of like, come on. It's like when everyone was saying, ever out. Like, now look at us. You've all gone quiet. Literally everyone that was ever in predicted this was going to happen. And now it's happened. And they've all gone back into the shadows, crying and waiting until blooming Everett slips up again.
Yeah, what's all that Everett out is going to say now? Because he's won the manager of the month. Congrats to the manager. What are you saying now?
But yeah, that's also another thing we will talk about. But yeah. So anyone calling Maddison overhyped, just you're wrong. just
get in a bin.
But yeah, next, I've forgotten the order. I said this was going to happen straight before the podcast. I kind of had it mapped out in my head, completely forgotten. But let's just move on to manager of the month, as we've just mentioned, and obviously Santos as well. Did get player of the month as well.
Congrats to both.
It just goes to show, like, as we've just said, before January, we were closer to the bottom of the table. Now we're closer to the top of the table. But yeah, I mean, an interesting thing that, again, I've seen from probably ever outers, is people actually didn't want Everett to win this. They didn't want him to
What?
win Manager of the Month. Now, no, but right, before you get all annoyed and confused and whatever, I can understand why, and you'll probably understand why. It's based off the last time he won it, obviously when we went on our first run of form, when we got I think it was 5 wins, and then he got Manager of the Month. But yeah, when he last got that, that's when our form dropped off again. So I think people were looking at it like, oh, but if he wins it this time, that might happen again. Because
No,
I mean,
don't say that. Please do not say that.
I mean, people have already said it. But I mean, I can understand that, but at the same time, I don't see it happening. Not with the quality we've got in the squad now, with Maddison and everyone. Like Doyle's on
I swear,
form,
just
obviously.
say that and get battered tomorrow.
Imagine, but yeah, I mean,
No, don't.
Massive congrats to both of them. I don't think that it's going to mean that
Santos.
our form
I think
drops
Santos
off.
deserved the Player of the Month.
Oh, Santos, honestly, if Santos does not get into Team of the Season, something's not right. Because I'm sorry, he's been in Team of the Week pretty much every week. Like, he deserves it massively. And also, again, speaking of defenders, kind of, Jilks. Bit of a 50-50 again. And just the goalkeeper situation as a whole, as we've
was unlucky though.
I mean, yeah. What Tyler's referring to, if you don't know, obviously, I mean, I assume you do know. I assume it's majority Bolton fans that watch this.
Yeah, it's all over Twitter. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen too much criticism of Jilks because I think people are kind of like, oh, well, we won, so it's fine.
Plus, people are saying it's because of the weather as well, because it was raining.
Which is what I was going to say. Like, I don't think there was a lot Jilks could have done against Cambridge to keep that goal out. It kind of did remind me, though, I'm not going to lie, of Rob Green in the World Cup.
Oh, my God.
It kind of did, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, not on a much smaller scale, obviously, but it kind of just looked the same. But yeah, I've got no problems with Jilks being in that. I mean, he is... He's made some amazing saves, and he's like, how old is he? Is he like 50? Could be wrong.
Oh,
I think I'm definitely wrong. He's 40 odd. We'll go with that. But yeah, I mean, he's made some top quality saves over the past few months, really. And obviously that again brings up, I mean, we spoke about it last week, the goalkeeper situation, and why Jilks is still playing and not focusing on the coaching aspect of his role. And again, going back to the topic as well of overhyped, apparently people are now saying that about Jensen, which you can't definitively say somebody's overrated if they haven't played yet.
Yeah, I know.
Like, Everett made it like no secret that he wanted to make sure that all them January signings were settled. Obviously, again, the point that comes up from that, though, is that obviously Williams went straight into the team and so did Maddison. But that's just because of the quality they are. Like, AFOLYAN didn't jump straight into the squad. It took him a couple of weeks to get into the squad. And then, obviously, Jensen still hasn't managed to get into the squad. But from what I've seen on the Inside Lost Stock on YouTube, pretty decent, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think he'll stick around after this season, if I'm honest. So I think
he will. I think he will.
I don't know, bro, because I mean, obviously he hasn't played yet. Obviously, anything could happen. He could play tomorrow. We don't know. But it's like we both. I think we both said it last week. I know I said it. But last week I said that Everett probably doesn't want to take a risk when it's unnecessary.
Yeah, you said it. I said something else.
In the sense that Jilks is on form right now, and he's probably our best option, realistically. And then to bring in, obviously, we're not going to bring back Krellin, let's be honest. I don't think Krellin will play for us again. Yeah, I don't think Krellin's going to play for us again, at least not this season. I mean, obviously, his loan ends
Should
at the end of
expire.
the season. So,
Should expire.
But yeah, in the terms of like Jilks, he's on form, so Everett doesn't want to take the risk of them bringing in Jensen and then potentially, obviously Jensen's not played for us yet, so he's going to need time to adjust to it. So he may not play at all. We don't know. He may have been brought in as a backup, and Jilks just is going to see out the rest of the season. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see Jensen start, but obviously I do understand. I understand why Everett isn't playing him yet, because obviously he doesn't want to drop points if it can be avoided, which right now with Jilks in that, I think can be avoided. But yeah, I mean, what are your overall thoughts on Jensen?
I think he will become an absolute baller in net, because I think he could contend if, like I said, I think he should stay and then do a rotation keeper, like what apparently Crowley was. Because if Jilks actually form retires and goes into coaching, we'll need an actual keeper, unless in the summer Everett buys a decent keeper, keeps Jensen, and then just rotates them, which I think he should do, personally. Because, like you said, I'd like to see Jensen play, but when would he play, though?
Yeah, I'd say that's the same thing. Like, the thing is, like, if you picture how long we've got left in the season, by the way, as well, can we just say, like, how well Jilks is doing? Like, me and Tyler both were skeptical when the rumours started that Jilks was potentially replacing Krellin. We were kind of like, can he do it week in, week out? He's proved that he can. But obviously, again, there's still that thing in the back of my head that says, but how long for? Like, how long can he play week in, week out? Which leads me on to my next point as well, actually, about Jilks. We'll discuss it properly in a second, but a lot of people think he might retire at the end of this season, which it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, it just, I don't know. If it happens, it happens. Obviously, I would like to see him stay, but I mean, he's going to stay, but in the sense of a coach. But yeah, in terms of Jensen, again, like to see him play. I think he's a very good keeper right now, but it's just unnecessary to put him in. And as well, I think that, like, a lot of people are looking at, like, you know, who's number 1, 2, 3. Obviously, we know Jilks is number 1. But the 2 and 3, there's a lot of debate. People have said that Krellin's number 2. Personally, I think Jensen's number 2 already. Like, and as well, actually, another interesting point that I've just thought of, but what do you think about Everett's, like, bench choice? Not in the sense of, you know, every player he puts on the bench, obviously he's got to rotate and whatever, but in terms of a goalkeeper, he doesn't necessarily put a goalkeeper on the bench, which a lot of teams do, just obviously in case, you know, I don't know, Jilks gets injured, then what's going to happen? You know? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he should put either Jensen or Krellin on the bench just as a precaution?
Yeah, I think he is taking a bit too much of a risk with not putting a keeper on. Because I've seen other team sheets, they put keepers on just in case something serious happens. And then who've we got on the bench that's going to replace Jilks? Say if he was injured, serious injury, who's going to put on then? All we'll have is like outfielders, and like that means they'll like say, don't get me wrong, probably like say Darcy or something, or go in net or something.
Yeah.
Don't want it to happen like that. I think he should start putting Jensen on the bench to try and just to give it a bit of precaution, just in case someone literally does something.
Plus, as well, I think that would actually boost Jensen's confidence, because I imagine, you know, not even making the bench kind of makes a player think, well, why am I here? You know, I may as well have stayed at Burnley, because the same thing's happening. He's probably being paid a bit more. Obviously, I know it's loan, so they probably would have split the fees. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I do think he's taken a massive risk by not having a backup keeper on the bench, especially now the fact that we've got 5 subs. Like, not obviously sat on the bench, but as in just, you know, we can make 5 subs. It's not going to make too much of a difference. But I mean, it is just our luck. Like, I wouldn't be surprised obviously, touch wood that it doesn't happen, but I would not be surprised if one of our key players got injured. I'll be completely honest, because it just is Bolton's luck, and then that'll completely thing is with Bolton, you always look at them, and then as soon as they start doing well, something else prevents us from doing well. Obviously, last season it was the -12 that stopped us, and then obviously, given the players we'd brought in and whatever, then I think we did kind of pick up a bit of form. We weren't necessarily consistent, but we did in part of that season. And then obviously the whole almost not existing thing and all that was what cost us and stuff. But I mean, I do think Jensen deserves to be on the bench at least. And then if he is on the bench, his confidence might go up because obviously then he's going to be more motivated to try and get into that first team, which is actually a lot harder for a goalkeeper if you think about it. For an outfield player, they can demonstrate so much more in training and stuff to make it into the first team, whereas a goalkeeper can realistically only be judged on their performances during games. But yeah, now let's talk about our form in general. As I said at the start of the podcast, probably going to be a lot of the same things we said last week, but that's just because not a lot's changed and then not a lot needs to be changed. So, what are your thoughts on our recent form, I guess? I mean, that's the only question I can ask, really.
We are excelling in our form. 10 games undefeated. Hopefully, make it 11 tomorrow. Hopefully. Yeah. The lads have performed out of their skin for that badge. Like I've said in basically nearly all the podcasts, they play for that badge every week and every single time they kick a ball. They deserve to wear that badge, and they should wear it with pride.
It was actually as well, like particularly last season, there was a lot of questions asked whether, a lot of the players last season wanted to actually be there, and a lot of one of the biggest criticisms of Bolton in general, or of the Bolton players in general, over the past few seasons, regardless of who comes in and who goes out, has been that they don't play for the badge. And, we've seen it many a time, especially me and Tyler. We've not just especially, that made it sound like it was only us two that seen it. But yeah, a lot of people have seen this, especially over the past few years. If we go 1-0 down in the game, we'd more often not drop our heads. And Bolton fans at one point actually kind of, as soon as we went 1-0 down, we'd be like, oh, well, that's it. We've lost. Which obviously was not a healthy mentality. But obviously this season has kind of reminded everyone that, we just need the right set of players, and then we can be a championship club again, at the very least. I'm not going to say a Prem, because there's going to be a lot of people that be like, oh, you're deluded, you're this, you're that. I will happily stay in the championship for the next however many years. I'll take it. Because in my opinion, this is going to cause a bit of an uproar, but the championship is a lot more entertaining to watch than the Premier League. And if you disagree, cool, but that's probably because you're a Liverpool fan. But,
Or a United fan.
Yeah, I mean, just if you're a Premier League fan, you probably disagree. But it's just that sense of the Premier League, kind of what the top 6 is going to look like in whatever form. United's probably going to be up there. City, Liverpool, although this season, who knows? Chelsea could be up there. And, you pretty much know the top 6 every season, regardless of if they move around in the top 6.
Apart from Tottenham and Arsenal.
And that. But, obviously this season has shaken it up a bit, but there's still a lot of the big teams that are there, But to be fair,
United, Leicester, Chelsea.
I'll be honest, I don't mind the fact that City and United are in the title race, because it kind of reminds me of older days. Not obviously olden days, but
yeah, brings me back to the day where
2012 days and stuff like that, where it was always United and City, which
remember,
I kind of like.
When you were saying, remember the days when it was them to actually fight for the title, and it was Aguero who scored the winner for City, and we unfortunately got relegated.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, I don't know how we ended up on that, but yeah, I just think the Championship's a lot more. Like, there's a lot more at stake. Obviously, if you get promoted, that's sick. But like, I'd much rather just stay in the Championship. I don't think Bolton, in my lifetime or our lifetime, will get back to the Premier League. I mean, who knows? You can never say never, but I mean, it's probably like a 1 in a 10 billion chance. Let's be honest. But yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. I'll be honest. Cambridge, sure. We'll go back to that. But yeah, the Cambridge game, like we said about Jilks, there wasn't a lot we could have done about that goal that they scored. Again, the only criticism, we probably should have won by more goals.
Should have been at least 4-1.
Or at least. But yeah, I mean, again, can't fault the lads, really. Other than, we need to be more clinical. But yeah, I mean, that's literally all we can say. Like, usually we elaborate on these points and, try and have a bit of a debate or whatever. There's literally nothing else to say because, like Tyler just said, we're unbeaten in 10 games. So we can't complain about anything.
I've seen people call it the magic 10 for us now, apparently.
Well, I mean, actually, I don't know if it was either this week I've seen it or last week just after the podcast, but I don't think we mentioned it. But Ian Everett's now the second ever manager to win or be undefeated in 10 games. It's something like that. The other one was Sam Allardyce, which obviously Bolton legend on and off the pitch.
And the only manager to get close to 10 but like get 7 is Owen Coyle.
Which, I mean, Jesus. Owen Coyle, I've not heard that name in a while. But yeah, again, we can't really say anything. The Bradford game, I think we can definitely say a bit more on. Just in the sense that I think we got a bit unlucky.
I've had someone jump at me on Instagram.
I think we got a bit unlucky, personally. Again, we weren't clinical enough. Probably should have won that game. But looking at the pitch we were on, I'll take the point because that pitch was awful, realistically. Don't get me wrong, it's better than like a Sunday League pitch where you turn up and it's literally all mud, but like it wasn't far off. But yeah, I mean, we kind of just had to find a way to win, and unfortunately on that day we couldn't, but probably should have. But it is what it is. I mean, what do you think about the Bradford draw?
I think we were unlucky because literally it was just a little bounce and he just runs in and just smashes it top right.
Yeah. To be fair, our goal in that game was a bit lucky. You could argue. I mean, obviously it got given to Delfonso, but I mean, realistically, all Delfonso did was run into it. So, and not run onto it. Don't be confused. He literally ran into the ball.
Yeah.
But hey, look, I'll take it. Obviously, I would have liked to have 3 points because I think we wouldn't have been in top 3, but we'd have been very close.
4th right now.
Yeah, we'd have been sat 4th.
Just 2 points off 3rd.
Yeah. Obviously, it's still doable as long as we just don't lose games. That's the key thing. As long as we're still picking up points and we at least get playoffs, I'm happy. I'm stressed, but I'm happy. But yeah, obviously now, tomorrow, that is, not now, we face Port Vale. Bit of a sore subject, just based on the fact that, obviously, at the start of the season, it was something like, what, 6-2, 3? Something like that?
6-3.
6-3. So, I mean, to be fair, you say battered, but realistically, at least we scored 3 goals.
In the first 20 minutes, we were 4-0 down in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, we still... Yeah, we lost. There's not a lot I can say. I was trying to be positive about it, but there's not a lot I can... But, me and Tyler briefly spoke about this yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Port Vale could be that same team that battered us 6-3, but at the same time...
I hope not.
We could turn up, especially now, like we've got players like Madison, AFOLYAN, and people like that, like Declan John as well. Especially when we're on form, like unbeaten in 10. I think we've got a pretty good chance tomorrow. It's just a matter of, obviously, again, I say this every time I talk about the other team, but I don't watch them. So, I don't know
Me-
how Port Vale have been playing, which I should probably start doing just based on the fact I think I did it for the first couple of podcasts we ever did, but then after that,
You did it
I
last week when
stopped.
you checked where Bradford and Cambridge were.
Yeah, but I mean that's checking points. I mean I like actually in terms of seeing how they play, I don't really do. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's a 50-50 game. I think it could end in a draw if I'm honest, which I don't want to say, but because I mean I think I predicted a draw for the Bradford game, didn't I? And then
No, you predicted a win.
Oh, well, that's probably why we drew. But yeah, I don't know. I reckon we're going to end up with a draw. I think
Yeah, but
a 1-1 again, if I'm honest.
off camera, I spoke to you about it. I got the Cambridge one right.
Yeah, he did, to be fair. But I mean, yeah, it could go either way. It could, we could turn up, play our football that we have done and beat them, or we could turn up, struggle a bit, could get battered. Who knows? Obviously, again, I hope we win, of course, because that would be massive, actually. In fact, shall I see? I don't think the table's changed too much, other than the fact that we've dropped down to 7th. But yeah, I mean, it's still pretty tight at the top. Just in general, actually, to be fair. But yeah, well, technically, we kind of on points, we're joint 6th with Newport, but obviously that will be goal difference and whatever. But yeah, so obviously because Exeter won the other day, that meant that we dropped down a place. It's unfortunate, but I mean, we can't really do anything about other games. But yeah, looking at the top, Cheltenham, who are sat at the top, are on 59 points. So not impossible. And then Cambridge and Forest Green, which Forest Green is going to be a massive game. We need to win that game. Yeah, Forest Green and Cambridge are sat on 58. So they're tied. Obviously, again, goal difference and stuff. But Tranmere are 4th. Morecambe are on 56. By the way, Tranmere are on 57. And then Newport are sat on 54 with us.
We win tomorrow.
It's not impossible. But
we win tomorrow.
The issue is we need Tranmere to lose.
And who's Tranmere goal?
No idea, but they need to lose.
Give them Cheltenham. Just give them Cheltenham.
Yeah, but I mean, I do personally. Right. I'm going to say something that I don't think I've said before. Tranmere have a decent side. Okay. Not that doesn't mean I like them. I'll be honest. There's only one player I like, and that is Jay Spearing, just because he was obviously former Bolton. But yeah, he's the only player I actually like at Tranmere.
Getting someone else.
Oh, Ali Crawford, yeah, but he's still technically a Bolton player. So, like, plus, I'll be honest, I did forget about him. But yeah, I mean, I forgot what I was saying there. I'll be honest. Yeah, Tranmere have got a decent side. I don't see them having a good enough side to win playoffs if they obviously don't push up. But as long as we get promoted, I'll take it. I don't really want to play Tranmere next season, I'll be honest. I might have said it on a podcast before, but I've definitely said it somewhere. The one game I do not look forward to every season, obviously, if we're in the same league, is Tranmere. Simply because of how deluded their fans are. Like, me and Tyler have made it we've not ever shied away from the fact that we do not like Tranmere fans. We don't like Tranmere in general. But I mean, yeah, that's just going to be a rivalry for God knows how long. But yeah, Tranmere probably will get promoted, I'll be honest, but I don't think they'd win playoffs for it. I think they might end up getting a bit lucky and maybe pushing top 3. But as long as we get top 3, I'll take it.
Pains me to say it, but I think they'll get second.
Which I'm not bothered as long as we're third. But, because that would just be the ultimate, like, kick in the teeth almost. Like, especially if we go into playoffs and then lose. Tranmere fans are going to be like, we're good enough to get automatic. Like, okay, cool.
What would be a kick in the teeth is the goal difference. We finished in the playoffs and they finished third just on goal difference by one goal.
I mean, I don't see it happening, personally. But you never know. But yeah, I mean, me and Tyler said last week that, we think we can make top 3. We just need to not lose games and not drop off form, because a drop off in form now would send us tumbling back down the table, which we don't want, especially because of how tight it is. Like, one game can change the whole table. Like, look at Forest Green, for example. They were at the top of the table a couple of weeks ago, weren't they? And then
they were top of the table for the past 10 weeks, and then get battered off a team, and then this drop down.
And then they. I mean, to be fair, they've not dropped down massively, but they're still in the top 3.
True.
But I mean, it does show that one game can throw a team's whole season off. I hope that doesn't happen with us, obviously. But you never know. It could happen. I'm kind of prepared for it to happen because, I mean, that's just the mentality of a Bolton fan over the past few seasons, is basically set your expectations as low as possible so you cannot be disappointed. But obviously now this season we do have more expectations and higher expectations of the team, simply because of where we are. What I really like as well, actually, it's just popped into my head, the fact that Everett still isn't satisfied. Like, a lot of managers would probably look at where we are in the table and be like, oh, well, we're in playoffs, it's fine. Like, and kind of not sit back, because obviously you want to stay in playoffs, but almost take the foot off the gas just a little bit, and then obviously it all either goes wrong or, you just settle for playoffs. Whereas Everett, after every interview, he's pretty much saying, oh, but we're not happy where we are. It's like, we are happy where we are. We just know we need to be higher. But I mean, yeah, we may as well talk about Ian Everett as well, obviously. I mean, the run of form he's sending this team on. I mean, do you think this is enough to prove that he deserves to be here long term?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. He is here for the long run.
Which Everett outers right now, crying. But, well, they're not, because obviously Bolton are doing well, which is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, obviously, all the Everett outers, I mean, it's going to be a thing for the rest of this season, at least. But, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot we can do about it, in the sense of, every single football club, if you're in, obviously, the main divisions, are going to have a 50-50 split almost. Like, I've said before, in football, when it comes to opinions and stuff, there's no middle ground. There's no sitting on the fence when it comes to opinions. There'll be people that try and say, oh, I don't know, I can see the argument on this side and that side, but nobody's ever truly sat on the fence. Nobody's ever truly sat in the middle, oh, I'm just neutral in all of this, because everybody's got an agenda in football these days. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, everybody's got one, and everybody's obviously got an opinion. So, yeah, I mean, I've always said this, that, especially, this is why I hate 50% of Bolton fans, just because of, delusion and being wrong. Obviously, that's not me saying that, we're always right. That's just, it's like I said earlier, if there are facts and people are going against that, like with Maddison, calling him overrated and overhyped, that's just flat out wrong. Okay, he might not have lived up to his full potential yet, but he's going to. It's going to happen. He's not been playing bad. It's not like how Baptiste started off the season, is it? Now look at Baptiste as well, by the way. That's interesting, actually, as well. Baptiste, I don't think, has got enough credit, just considering how far he's actually come. Because obviously, me and you gave him a lot of stick and said he probably should be dropped from the team. Now, yeah. I would hate if he got dropped from the team. But
I think we always said that because a certain someone, which I don't want to say because you'll ramble on about it.
I don't know you're about.
Certain defender.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm finally at peace with the whole George Taft thing. I'll be honest. I'm not, but I'm not going to ramble about it. But I mean, yeah, just how far Baptiste has actually come. Like, now I'll hold my hands up and say, me and Tyler were probably wrong about Baptiste. We were saying that half the time he looks like he's just wandering and just walking, which at the start of the season he was, and then he kind of had a little period where he was like, he's good, but he's not, amazing. Some games he's still not great. Now, Jesus Christ, please don't take him out. Please do not take him out. Him and Santos at the back. Oh my God. I mean, as we brought up earlier, they're like first and second in like most passes and stuff like that. So yeah, just please do not take them out. Please. But yeah, as far as well, players developing and, from where the team as a whole was at the start of the season to where we are now, there's been a massive improvement from every single player. Obviously, excluding the January signings, because obviously they had a lot of time to improve. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that starting squad we had at the start of the season, players like Doyle, especially right now. Doyle is absolutely on fire. He's pretty much banged them in for fun, which, again, I'm just saying, we said that was going to happen.
Yeah.
We said
that was going to happen.
We said, right, from pretty much the first week of the season when Doyle wasn't getting the ball and we noticed that, we said, you supply Doyle, you get goals. It's that simple, And now he's being supplied and he's getting goals, believe it or not. And yeah, Delfonso as well, which we spoke about, I think, last week. Obviously, started off the season and pretty much average form, but I mean, the whole team did. And then we hit our stride for that 5 games, and it was amazing. Delfonso was one of the key players as well. And then obviously, Delfonso had a lot of stuff going on, behind the scenes outside of football and stuff. He had a kid, and there could have been anything else happening. Obviously, COVID probably didn't help that. And then obviously now he's bounced back again. Like, you could argue that maybe the Bradford goal probably wasn't deserved for him, but it went in. So
right place,
we take
right
it.
place, right time.
Yeah. But yeah, Delfonso is definitely, he's not back at his best, which I think we said last week, but he's definitely getting towards that. He's all over that pitch. He's not once stood still and just walked and kind of waiting for the ball. Like, that's what I like as well, actually, about Doyle and Delfonso. They don't just stay up front and wait for the ball. They do drop back. Obviously, Doyle had to do that earlier in the season just because that's the only way he got the ball. But with Delfonso and Doyle, honestly, probably one of the best strike duos in the league, I'm going to be honest. Not just in the sense of a lot of people now, especially with how Harry Kane and Son have been this season, a lot of people kind of, if you're going to talk about duos, you kind of...
comparison. All right.
No, but obviously, again, I know we're in League Two. Before any Premier League fans come at us and they're like, yeah, but you're in League Two. It's completely different. But just on the basis of comparing strike forces and whatever, a lot of people now do look at Son and Kane as almost an example. And they do compare them, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But again, it is a different league. But yeah, a lot of people think that now, the ideal partnership has to be like Kane and Son, which I don't think it does. Because Doyle and Delfonso, obviously, besides, forgetting about what league we're in and what league Tottenham are in and whatever, Doyle and Delfonso, let's be honest, they don't necessarily assist each other. They have done, but not a lot. So a lot of people probably look at that and be like, right, well, how can there be a deadly duo almost? Just in the fact that how many goals they have got this season, Doyle especially, and then Delfonso as well, just the way he performs and the goals again he's got this season, and they have assisted each other. They are two of the best in League Two for sure. To be fair, I'll be honest, I could probably sit here and say that about a lot of people in this Bolton squad. But you can call me biased, but let's be honest, I think it was either Thogden or Thogdad that said this, right? On paper, we have the best team in the league. Hands down.
It was Thogdad who said this.
Yeah. I mean, hands down, we do. It like even at the start of the season, before we had Madison, before we had AFOLYAN, before we had Jensen, sure. But yeah, before we had all of the January signings, like we still had the best team. Before we had Kieran Lee, we still had the best team. Like, and we've only added to that, and it has shown. Honestly, the only thing that can make this season perfect, honestly, is us getting automatic promotion. You know, finishing in that top 3. Because the way I look at it, like, obviously it hasn't been the perfect season, obviously, in terms of actually, you know, how results have gone and stuff. But the way I look at it, it just shows a massive improvement. And it just shows, like, the stages we've gone through to get to where we are. Like, we have actually worked really hard this season. And obviously that goes down to everybody at Bolton, you know, Sharon Britton, all the members of the board and whatever. And yeah, obviously Ian Everett, the coaching staff, all the players. The effort they've all put in this season, mental. But yeah, just going back to that, I forgot what I was saying again. It's gone out of my head. But basically, yeah, it would be the perfect season if we can top it off with top 3. Just in the sense that obviously we started off very shaky and very, you know, obviously losing games wasn't great. Then, obviously after all the recruitment and whatever, after the rebuild had started, then we kind of hit a point where we were like extremely inconsistent, where we could win a game, then lose a game, then win a few games, lose a few games. And then obviously January has just boosted us. It's given us the confidence boost we needed. And obviously then Madison coming in and stuff like that. Yeah. If you try and picture Bolton's like timeline of this season almost, or as a graph, sure. This is the best way I can explain this, but like we started off very like at the bottom and it's only gone up since. Admittedly, it's probably gone like that a few times, but it's gone up and down.
Like that.
Literally. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Have you got anything else you want to talk about?
Score predictions.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that. I mean, do I go positive? I don't know. I mean, I said it could be a draw. You go first. I need time to think. Do I go positive or negative?
Well, you may know what scoreline you think I'm going with.
If you say 6-3, I swear to God, Tyler, if you think we can turn up and beat them 6-3.
No. I'm going 3-0.
Jesus Christ. I mean...
Dale will grab 2. And Sarcevic. I was going to say Madison, but it's like, oh.
I don't know. I don't know whether to go positive or negative. Well, obviously, I don't want to be negative as well, by the way. Like, it's just, it depends on the game. Like, sometimes you just have to be negative, you know, especially when the last time you played Port Vale or we played Port Vale, we lost 6-3. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like I said earlier, like, now that we have Madison and players like that, we've got a very strong side now. And obviously, when we last played Port Vale, the team hadn't gelled yet. So now that we have gelled, I do see us winning the game, but it's a matter of on the day. So, I don't know. I'll go 2-0, sure. 2-0 win. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll turn up and batter them, if I'm honest. But I also don't think they're going to turn up and batter us, especially because, again, just the quality we've got in the side. Unless Everett, for some reason, makes a drastic change to the starting lineup, then I don't see us
different people
losing.
Don't even know.
Imagine, Jensen starts, Baptiste is off. I don't imagine. But Doyle doesn't even get on the blooming bench. Christ, can you imagine? Obviously, I doubt he's going to do that because Doyle's been one of them players as well that's not like he's never really been dropped to the bench, has he? I'm pretty sure he's started most games.
Once when he played Arthur instead of Doyle.
But then I think the only time Doyle's not been in the starting 11 is obviously, as you just mentioned, when he did play on the bench once. But and then the only other time was when he had a brief injury, didn't he, towards the start of the season. So, Doyle's not really been out of that starting 11. Not for a long period of time. So, obviously, Doyle's pretty much a guaranteed one to play. I think Sars is, for sure. But, I mean, that can rotate. But, yeah, I mean, I think tomorrow... who's going to get the goals? Oh, God. I mean, I'll say Doyle because, I mean, with the form he's on, he's pretty much guaranteed at this point. Doyle will get at least one. And I think Alphaline due one, to be honest. I think he might get one tomorrow. But we've been wrong when it comes to goal scorers most of this season, so who knows? I think both me and Tyler have said that Madison was going to get one pretty much every episode for the past 3 weeks. But is what it is. I do think he's still going to get one, for sure.
Yeah, imagine. We've not predicted him. He goes and bangs some goals in tomorrow.
I mean, I'll take it. But, I think that's it for this episode. I mean, thank you for watching, listening. I feel like I was going to say something else then, but then there's nothing else I can say for that. But obviously, if you are watching it on YouTube, then please do hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And as always, do let us know in the comments what your score prediction is. And, feel free to jump in on any of the discussions that me and Tyler have had today about whether, Jensen should be playing, shouldn't be playing, stuff like that. And if you are listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, I almost said Apple Music then. Leave us a review, whether it's star rating or whatever. Be very much appreciated. And we have been Aaron and Tyler. I don't know. I'm winging this outro, I'll be honest. We'll be back next week for us, 12:30. But honestly, there's not a specific time these episodes go out. But
that depends if we get anyone on. That just depends.
And that. It's very hard to get a guest as well. Christ.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah.
That's the thing, actually. If you are watching this on YouTube, drop a comment to see who you'd like us to try and get on.
Yeah.
We are trying our best to try and get people on.
It's just a nightmare, honestly. We've emailed a couple of people and had no reply, so it just is what it is. Let us know in the comments who you would like to see on the podcast. And we will see you next week for a new episode. And hopefully we're closer to that top 3. Goodbye.